the nice thing is we have a reason to connect because I have a consumer that wants to buy a home.
Right.
And it turns out that's a great way for a real estate agent and loan officer to start hanging out.
I'm so excited today for this conversation with Dan Snyder of Lower and John Berkowitz of Movoto. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
First question is probably an obvious one. Dan, you're doing a lot of deals. The last time I spoke with you on Powerhouse, you had just acquired Neat Labs. Recently, you announced the acquisition of Movoto. What are you doing? What are you building?
Yeah, I think times like these, or any time, you have to take advantage when you can. And so, I mean, this all came about by way of actually trying to get leads. And so, we had brought on Adam Weiner as our new president. He was former president of Redfin. He came in January, maybe late last year, and oversees technology, data, direct to consumer. And he and I had been talking about where else can we get some purchase leads. He knew of OJO Movoto, Austin-based. He's in Austin, and then he called me up. Was like, hey, instead of just leads, what do you think about the whole shooting match? And what was really appealing is, when you look at the trends of where we'll call it like the industry of housing is going, and even consumer, like, take outside of maybe the economics and just look at the business side. You've got a Bankrate, big provider of leads, they got their own mortgage company. NerdWallet, they've got their own mortgage company. Rocket, Redfin, like what Zillow's doing.
Zillow, right, yeah.
So this consolidation of just consumer top of funnel with lender, I mean, there's a little bit of a risk there. If you're a national lender like us or any, they're trying to how do you get leads for your originators? What if they all go away one day?
Right.
And so, I don't know, we wanted to own some level of top of funnel, and met John, met the team, and worked out a pretty good deal for both people.
John, you know about leads.
I do know about leads.
What excited you about bringing leads and really the whole Movoto ecosystem into the Lower platform?
Yeah, I think we about this time last year realized to really run a successful consumer portal, you needed real estate agent and loan officer partnered in serving the consumer as one. Like, you just can't run a good business for the consumer or the economics of running the standalone business without that. And so we went on a journey to find the right way to get bigger and find the right products. And kind of our criteria, if you're thinking about you're going to bring your company into another company, you need a few things. One, you need culture fit. It's an easy one. It's cliche, but it's very real when you've hired hundreds of talented people.
Right, and super important.
It's, everybody underestimates it. The culture fit is absurd. I mean, Dan has assembled, I believe, the best team in the industry. I mean, he's humble, hungry, focused on the right things. And I'll get to that in a second. The next is you need retail. And that's the thing everybody misses. You can just say I need mortgage products for my consumers, but Rocket and Zillow are touching every American, yet have a handful of percentage points, less than 10% total together of the market because transactions are happening locally. And we have the consumer and real estate side. We needed a well-executed retail strategy, which is, there just aren't that many companies out there that have that. Right. And we need to be able to look at our consumer and agent partners and say, we found a world-class mortgage product for you, which, I mean, I don't think people fully understand how well executed of a mortgage company Lower is.
So we've now brought up Rocket and Zillow a couple of times. I would love to hear from you how you're thinking about this really end-to-end platform that you're building. How is this different from what Rocket and Zillow are building?
Well, I mean, first, we were working on this long before that announcement happened. When that announcement happened, it was like, wow, okay, I guess we're on the right track. Yeah. This is happening.
How long have you guys been talking?
End of last year.
End of last year.
Oh, wow,
yeah.
okay, wow.
Yeah, these things don't come together, at a
Of course.
that quickly.
Takes
I
a
mean,
while.
so yeah, it takes a while because you want to make sure it's going to align and everyone has a, like you've got a unified plan, so to speak. Otherwise, some stakeholders will get left out. So we figured that out and we're doing it. So how is it different?
Yeah.
I think what he said. I mean, if you're the purchase market is hyper local. Like even within a city, even within a small city, the suburbs are typically owned by various top realtors.
Yep.
Not just one person owns the city. And so, Movoto generates, even though, and I keep saying this, it's not a knock, it's not a household name like a Zillow, which is fine, but it generates insane traffic and leads. Insane. I mean, it's 150 million unique visitors a year. It generates 700,000 qualified leads a year.
In the lowest market that we've seen on the internet in housing. And
Exactly. I mean, and so that's a very rare asset.
Yep.
It's something that you can't even, it'd be very difficult to recreate today, is a national real estate portal. So, but the customer is the realtor. They're the star of the show. And so they are getting that consumer, they're getting the consumer that's trying to find their dream home, they're working with the consumer, and then the mortgage attach happens hyper-local, not through a call center.
okay.
And I think that's going to be, I'm sure, I mean, there's a lot of smart people at Rocket. I'm sure they've thought about how they're going to solve that. I just, I travel market to market, and it's just, I meet with realtors, and it's just getting them to send it through lower.com is hard. And they want to work with someone local.
Yeah. But can you just dive into that a little bit more? When you say that the handoff happens hyper local, what's the mechanism for that? Going from the real estate agent who has gotten the Movoto lead to the lower LO that's local. How does that transition happen?
Well, take the lower LO out of it for a second, right? The realtors, or if you want to speak to it,
Sure.
and then I can.
Yeah, I mean, the process is consumers searching on the web, doesn't want to talk to anybody for a long period of time.
Yep.
Our system's learning about them, trying to kind of personalize the experience. Eventually they say, I want to go see a home, which is the main action that consumers actually want to do as their serious first step. They call in, we then have a live conversation with them, figure out what they really need. If they are ready, willing, and able, we're warm transferring them to a highly qualified real estate agent. And that's like the first order of business for us is world-class real estate agent who really does transactions, is not a tourist agent who does this as a profession. We partner with them, and then we're finding out is that consumer pre-qualified and creating that connection between the consumer, the agent, and the LO, and then helping the LO and the agent work together to serve that consumer using technology, live conversation.
So 150 million unique visitors. I assume that's nationwide.
Yeah, nationwide.
And there are probably pockets of strength based on.
It's really, we are everywhere.
It is nationwide.
Yeah.
So that means Lower needs to be really nationwide.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, this is this integration channel. I mean, you have really two sides of it. You've got the technology side, and I feel capable with the team they have. Plus, when you insert in Adam and his experience, is one of the big things. I mean, as a CEO, I'm only as good as the top talent on the team.
Yep.
And you got to, this is almost a perfect fit to use Adam's strengths. I mean, he built Redfin over from 2007 to through public offering. He's made tons of mistakes. He knows exactly how to run a portal.
Yeah.
And then we have the opportunity. So there's that side of the fence. Get traffic up, keep cranking out more. And then the other side is like integrating at scale this coverage. Mm-hmm. And so it's attracting top loan officers that can handle the pockets we don't have branches.
Yeah.
Is a thing we're working on right now.
Yeah.
And then connecting our branches with these realtors that are already on the Movoto platform, introducing them. And it's a ground game.
Yeah, I imagine that's a pretty interesting pitch to folks that you're trying to recruit. Hey, I've got these 700,000 leads, or however many it is in that particular geo. Come get them.
And I think the leads are important. What the leads really bring are the top real estate agents in the country to the table.
Yeah.
And if you're a top local LO, the most important thing to you is not 10 internet leads. That's nice, that grows your business.
Yeah.
It is a deep relationship with the top real estate agent, which this opens the door for. And creates the kind of working relationship.
But a lot of those relationships are built, like you said, grassroots local. Does that mean that you need to start like bringing people together on a local basis and doing kind of local grassroots
100%.
media? Yeah, oh, that's cool.
But also we have the nice thing is we have a reason to connect because I have a consumer that wants to buy a home.
Right.
And it turns out that's a great way
Yeah.
for a real estate agent, a loan officer to start hanging out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You talked about integration a little bit. Last time we spoke, you're building a lot of your mortgage tech platform internally.
Yeah.
And you've built up a pretty amazing tech at Movoto. How do you bring these two tech teams and these two platforms together? Is Adam in charge of that, or like how does that go?
Yeah, Adam's in charge of all that.
Yeah.
And they're really two separate platforms. You've got the like on the real estate side itself, and then our single focus on our roadmap within Lower has been, rolling out Lower OS, which will be, point of sale, LOS, pricing engine, all wrapped under one, congruent system.
Yep.
That, it sounds crazy, but it'll be very mobile friendly, and you won't have to. You can use it online. You don't have to have a special, like with Encompass, you don't have to have a special permission to go onto their web version. Like many lenders aren't even on the web version yet. You will be able to have multiple people in one file.
Yep.
Like things that you would think are table stakes. And when I tell people that aren't in the mortgage industry, they don't. They're like, so how is it a game changer? I'm like, well, you don't have to download it onto their laptop. You can go online.
Real
and they're
innovation.
like, wow, okay, that'll be like that, And then we're doing a ton of stuff with AI and natively putting it into our system. So we're really excited for that. We actually closed our first loan through it, which is was ahead of schedule, and we're rolling it out early next year.
Cool. That's very cool. All right. So, Dan, the last time I talked with you, when you just acquired Neat Labs, you were like, I'm going to work on integration for a bit. I'm not out hunting for deals. So obviously that wasn't completely true, right? Are you out hunting for more deals right now? Like, how are you? No.
No. We're never out hunting, but we're trying to be opportunistic.
Yeah.
This came by way of a relationship.
Yeah.
And, we thought, wow, okay, this is a rare asset, a really good team, and we can get it at a really, kind of a fair deal for our shareholders.
Yep.
I don't expect a bunch of things like that to, like walk across my desk every day, but I don't have like a M&A team out hunting for deals.
So before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about servicing. And if you think about end-to-end homeownership platform, now you've got the leads, you've got the real estate platform. Obviously, you have the nationwide distributed retail for mortgage. What you don't have is what happens to that mortgage once it's originated. How are you thinking about servicing in terms of the strategy for this platform that you're building?
I like optionality. So we do have a servicing platform. We have the ability to service loans. So we do service loans today.
Yeah. What percentage of?
We're 50% will retain, but we treat every customer as if they're going to be a customer for life. Mm-hmm. Every customer. It was a lot easier when you were maybe battling against the big banks because they didn't have the tech. And now the amount of money that's being spent, the amount of reliance on these servicing books that some of these big players have, is just they're going to protect their book. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, because I can tell you at some of the outlets that we're selling our loans to, a customer might call our LO back, and the LO goes through the process, they get their payoff, but the payoff is delayed by 7 days so that the servicer can scoop in and retain it. That's a challenge. That's a very big challenge, and we might start servicing more. Certainly you can still deploy the same consumer tech to monitor your customers, stay out ahead of the customers, kind of mitigate it. But it's the next. We keep saying, when's the next refi wave? for the last year after year after year. So whenever that does happen and rates do drop some, it'll be interesting to see how does some of these big competitors compete.
Well, there were 2 golden weeks in Q3 of 2024 where rates dipped, and you did see those servicers get out there and do some recapture. So I guess you got to prepare for that.
Yeah, and they're going to try, but they're not going to capture as much as they think either.
Yeah. So John, we'll close with you. Your new title is President of Real Estate at Lower. What does that mean? What's your strategy for that role? What are you going to keep building at Movoto as part of this Lower platform?
Yeah, I'm only like 2 weeks on the job, so I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, my day job doesn't change.
Yeah.
I got to go out and make Movoto a world-class platform for consumers, agents, and now get those consumers and agents connected with our awesome retail operations.
Yeah.
And I got to go out there and knife fight against the giants and use our assets to kind of draft and pass the competition. And so, it's all day, every day figuring out how to make Movoto grow and support the partners better.
So just kidding, one last question. Movoto, you said it wasn't as big a brand as some of these other ones, but it's still a brand. Does that brand live on as part of this Lower ecosystem? How do you deal with the different brands that are under the umbrella?
Lower is the brand that we need the whole world to know.
Okay.
I mean, these are 2 incredible companies that not enough people know. You got to choose a lead horse. Lower, frankly, if you just ask a brand person, is a better brand.
Yeah.
So Lower will be the company brand. You'll see it show up on Movoto. You'll see it show up in the products. ChangingMovoto.com, given that asset is a 20-year asset. Right. Basically, the reason no one else can do it is because of Movoto.com.
It's the SEO.
We're probably not going to change the name, but you will. I call it the Project Lowerfying Movoto. Yeah. And so we'll bridge them together. There'll be a good Meta Facebook-like relationship, and we'll tell the world. But Lower is the one that I guarantee a year from now, there's not a person in this industry that doesn't know Lower. He'll be on main stage.
Amazing. Guys, this has been awesome. What a great conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Appreciate you.
Yeah.